Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have breaking news. Representative Byron Donalds just came out and spoke about this spending bill package that Mike Johnson is getting a lot of heat for supporting. This is the stopgap bill, which Representative Byron Donalds just came out and said he's not voting for this garbage and that Elon Musk is correct. So we're gonna bring on Byron Donalds, but before we do, we're gonna read the Bible because God comes first, amen? Comment amen down below. Today's Bible reading, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, amen. So now, let's bring on Byron Donalds. I wanna hear from you. What do you think about this stopgap bill? Do you think it should get passed? Comment your thoughts down below. Now, let's tune in. Let's bring on Byron Donalds.
Elon Musk says the 1,547-page continuing resolution to keep the government running should not pass. Now listen to what Speaker Johnson had to say about that.
I was communicating with Elon last night. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans. So any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like to spend it.
Come on in, member of the House Financial Services Committee, Byron Donalds. Congressman, this bill will fund much of what DOGE is looking to cut. What's going on?
Unfortunately, this is what happens in the lame duck here on Capitol Hill. Listen, there was a historic election, a mandate given to President Trump. People want government efficiencies, they want lower spending. But the swamp and frankly congressional Democrats want what they want, and it was that or farmers suffer. And it's a very unfortunate bill. Listen, what we have here is a bill that puts disaster recovery for a state like mine of Florida and many other states, and that was held hostage to get EV mandates and all this other stuff through this package. Personally, as a member, I have to vote no because I'm not voting for this kind of garbage.
Oh, wow.
This is a bad bill. It should not pass.
Wow, so Byron Donalds is actually voting no on this. I wonder how many people, Republicans, will vote no on this. This is interesting.
Elon Musk is correct. A lot of my colleagues are correct. In my view, we should go back to the drawing board immediately. Disaster recovery should move on its own. And when it comes to the other functions of government, it should be a slim deal until Donald Trump comes back.
Then if you vote no, if it goes down to defeat amongst Republicans, then you're going to have Democrats to pass it and keep the government going. That is likely to happen. How do you feel about that?
That's something I just simply don't like, but I would say that's up to the members of my conference of Republicans, because there was a mandate delivered in this election, and it was not for business as usual. It was actually to trim spending, to cut spending as it needs to be cut, to have the government be more efficient, to not fund or do extensions to institutions that have been suppressing free speech, that is frankly are now being sued by conservative media groups for suppressing free speech. The election was clear. The mandate is decisive. So it is incumbent upon us, if it means we have to come back after Christmas to clean this up, then that's what needs to happen. But doing this before Christmas is not the answer.
I love Byron Donalds. This man is an absolute powerhouse. He actually helped Trump so much in this race against Kamala Harris. He is a ferocious man, and I really trust Byron.
I think this is what Donald Trump wants. I mean, he's about to get into the Oval Office on January the 20th. Does he want a government shutdown and this big fight over what's spending and what's not being spent right before he assumes the Oval Office?
What a terrible question. This guy, Varney, really bugs me. Do you really think that bad of Trump that he can't handle that? I mean, this guy, Varney, he just really bugs me so much. He got really pissed. I believe it was at Kristi Noem. He had an interview with Kristi Noem where he asked her like 15 times about the dog situation. He just wouldn't give it up. I just really don't like him.
No, listen, honestly, I think with President Trump, he's focused on his presidency, which starts on January 20th. What this is cleaning up the last days of the worst administration we have ever seen with Joe Biden.
Yep.
And that's why my position for months has been we shouldn't even be negotiating with Joe Biden. We all know he's not running the country right now. Let's be perfectly honest. We should not even be negotiating with him. We should be figuring out what is passable going forward, and that is all. No more, no less. And the most tragic thing is that you have family farms and areas that have been ravaged with natural disaster are being used as pawns to get through the same Christmas omnibus that not just members here hate, but the American people despise. That's the frustration that Elon Musk has said. That's my frustration, a lot of my colleagues on Capitol Hill, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Byron Donalds, he raises a very good point. You know, we do need to fix up the crap that has come out of the worst administration of all time. Now, here's an epic moment where Byron Donalds absolutely obliterated Bill Maher on his own show, where Bill Maher was essentially kind of trying to expose Trump for the way that he described himself getting shot in the blood. And it was just really offensive, and Byron Donalds called him out on this. Let's tune in.
What he feels. He said there was a moment where he said, when he was talking about getting shot, and he said, I looked down and my hand was blood, covered with blood, and there was blood all over the place. And then I showed a picture of his hand with no blood. I'm not diminishing what happened. I'm just saying in his, that was so indicative of who he is. In his mind, the thing was just crazy blood. But it was just a little blood here.
You've had those conversations where you might have gotten into an altercation, a shouting match with somebody, but it turned into like the fight from Rocky IV. But in your mind, when you're having to deal with that, yes, it's a major situation. The man almost lost his life. I'm going to give him some editorial movement on the amount of blood on his hand. I'm going to give him that, okay? I'm going to give him that. He's earned that.
Good. You called out Bill Maher to his face. Good job. I really like Byron Donalds. He's very poised, calm, and collected. Now, he just went after Joe Biden big time. He says, Biden broke our border on purpose. He refused to build a wall we paid for. Communities were destroyed. Innocents were killed. Americans rejected this. Trump was elected to fix it. With 1 month left, Biden's now selling off our border wall for pennies on the dollar. This must end. Let's tune in, guys.
President Trump is right to be critical of President Biden and the outgoing administration. First of all, they created the border disaster. We all know that. The American people know that. Secondly, the material's been sitting on the ground for 4 years because the radical left Democrats didn't want to do the simple thing of securing our border. And let this sink in for the American people. This demonstrates how radical the Democrats still are when it comes to border security, in spite of the fact of the overwhelming victory of President Trump, the political mandate given to President Trump, that you have radical Democrats who still live in a world where it is A-OK for our nation to be inundated by massive illegal immigration. The American people need to remember this moment. It sounds like a little cute story, but it is not. It demonstrates how ridiculous and out of touch the Democrats are when it comes to securing this nation and actually making sure we have appropriate legal immigration that actually helps to maintain our cities and our states and maintain safety for everybody.
Wow, absolutely massive. Massive bombshell today from Byron Donalds. Let me know your thoughts on this one down below, guys.